It's Trinket Buddy here. That which is free cannot also be that which is governed. One is free or one is not free. Join me today as I go over what to do at a traffic stop where you're exercising your right to liberty unencumbered by permission from an authority figure. Today on Partially Woke. The first and biggest step is to get your mind right. Then it won't matter what they try and throw at you. You will know how to counter every attack. Spend ample time learning and practicing before manifesting any of this outwardly. You need to have confidence, and knowledge provides this confidence. Then the combination of the knowledge and confidence will guide what you manifest externally. My goal is to be honorable. I want to give them proper notice, and I want to make a record of everything, just like I am gathering evidence for a lawsuit. Remember, to stay in common law, your entity must be from common law. A man or woman cannot act in commerce. They run entities, but never are an entity. And don't even try this with any type of state plate on your car. They have been trained to believe that a car with a public brand or a state plate, which are the same thing, is also public property, meaning it is their property. You cannot be double-minded. It is all or nothing. You can't walk on the fence. You have to be on one side or the other. You cannot give them evidence that shows you have contracted with the state. Do not get emotional, except for filling yourself with love. Use the golden rule. Don't think of others as your enemy or competition. Think of others as your alternate self. Do you love yourself? Then treat both yourself and your alternate selves like it. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. We are all one. This is the only way that we will be able to conclude peace. First off, always find a safe place to pull over, not on the side of the highway. A church parking lot is best. Always greet the officer in a friendly manner and ask them for their name and badge number. You may remind them that officer is a title and not their name if you want, and then continue using the following. You can boil it all down to one question at your next encounter if you like. The question is, do you have probable cause to believe that I have committed a crime involving a victim? Because if you do, I would like you to articulate that to me. Otherwise, this is an unlawful detention and I should have no obligation to provide you with anything, and I should be free to go on my way, right? There are a few more appropriate questions you can ask. For example, if they ask for any documentation from you, ask them if they plan on using any of it against you in court, and if they want to give you a citation, you can ask, are you authorized to negotiate a financial instrument? When they ask, what is your name, it would be fair to ask, are you asking me legally or lawfully? You know, his answer would probably be legally, and your response could be, please show me where I'm legally required to have a name, or better yet, where is the law that states I am lawfully required to have a name? They will likely respond with, I don't understand. In that case, all I'd want to know is which one of those corporate officers has a claim against me. If they have a claim, they will have no problem articulating it, and if not, they need to leave me the hell alone. Never make statements. If you must make a statement, make it a non-rebuttable statement. If you don't know what that is, please check out my short free ebook that will explain it beautifully. You can get it at shop.freedomfromgovernment.org. The other strategy you can use is when the agent asks for license, insurance, registration, ask if he plans on using any of those against you in court. And it doesn't even matter what his answer to that question is, because you tell him that in order for him to get anything from you, he's going to have to perform a warrantless search and seizure to get it, because you're not going to give him anything or testify against yourself. Then if he takes anything from you, you can have any of that evidence excluded using the court's own exclusion rule. If you're still not getting anywhere, ask for a supervisor and then shut the hell up except to repeat the same thing to the supervisor. Important notes to remember. To detain is to arrest. Look it up in Black's Law. And right here. Every stop is a custodial arrest. To detain is to arrest. Look it up in Black's Law. In fact, here you go. Read and learn. Detain. To retain as the possession of personality. To arrest. To check. To delay. To hinder. To hold. Or to keep in custody. To retard. To restrain from proceeding. To stay. To stop. People versus Smith. State versus King. See confinement and custody. So there's no such thing as a detention or detainment. It's always an arrest. Actually demand them them to articulate their probable cause. Otherwise, it's an unlawful detention. By the way, it is not a crime to refuse to give the cops anything unless you have victimized someone. We are kings, not slaves. The Fourth Amendment originally enforced the notion that each man's home is his castle, and this is actually known as the castle doctrine. Secure from unreasonable searches and seizures of property by the government, it protects against arbitrary arrest and is the basis of the law regarding search warrants, stop and frisk, safety inspections, wiretaps, and other forms of surveillance, as well as being central to many other criminal law topics and to privacy law. The Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures, shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. If they say you fit the description of someone who they are looking for, make them produce the report number and prove it. If you don't already have one or three, get a dash cam. Cameras help you create a record. Tell them that the video is streaming live to YouTube, and if you're not streaming, they're likely too dumb to know better, so just tell them that anyway. Get Cell 411 so that you can call for real help from people that are around you. It also has a live video streaming feature if you have Signal at safearx.com. Be prepared because corporate policy men have little to no knowledge of de jure law or law enforcement, and they do not understand the unalienable and imprescriptible rights of the American people in the 50 states either. Most have no idea what their own state and federal constitutions say, nor do they understand what actual laws they are supposed to be enforcing in the first place. Police officers in America are not doing their job, and they probably never will. They seem to exhibit minimal knowledge of law and law enforcement. They are tyrants and just an extension of political aims for ill-gotten gains, theft within the special maritime jurisdiction, piracy, and extortion. Police are corporate revenue collection officers who are paramilitary trained to kill and take your unalienable right to do something away from you. The American Gestapo are protected by the foreign bar attorneys as officers of the corporate commercial court systems. These so-called courts are operating in bankruptcy, and the police are an extension of those private tribunals to enforce the bankruptcy and collect money against what are deemed corporate U.S. citizens. You are tried as a corporation. Think about this. There is not any legitimate job you can have where you act in the capacity as a domestic terrorist with a corporate badge to get away with it. Police officers are domestic and do not possess lawful venue and jurisdiction. The American people in the 50 states are all non-domestic. A police officer is not doing his or her job when they initiate threat, duress, and coercion at automobile stops and take people's rights away. If they don't waive them during a corporate administrative proceeding on the side of the road, a cop is not doing his or her job when they step on state and federal constitutions and commit high treason against the Constitution for these United States of America. A police officer is not doing their job when they operate under state statutory color of law and make legal determinations contrary to the 43 Supreme Court decisions regarding the right to travel, right of way, right of free passage. Police officers will take away your right to travel on the postal rural routes of passage in a private automobile for non-commercial purposes, so you have to know your shit. Simple as that. Police will violate our right to locomotion, to travel freely, safely, and unencumbered for such non-commercial purposes as ordinary travel, recreation, or pleasure on any given day. Police are not doing their job when they rip off your car or make criminal conversions and fraudulent conveyances or towing an impound of private property over the financial benefit of third parties without our consent. Cops break the law when they force you and intimidate you into surrendering your persons, houses, papers, and effects and implement paramilitary trained Gestapo-style tactics to force you to bear false witness against yourself. Cops are not doing their job when they are in contempt of the current Chapter 11 reorganization bankruptcy of the United States, violate public policy, and try to steal your labor. Police are not doing their job when they force you into commerce, force you to contract with them against your will, write a security, which is a commercial traffic ticket, absent a public hazard or surety bond, which is a violation of the SEC Act of 1933 and 1934, Securities and Exchange Commission, while acting in the public. A police officer is not doing their job when they cite a fictional state statute, practice law without a license, and act in the capacity of prosecutor, executioner, judge, and jury over the lives of innocent men and women within the 50 states. Police are not doing their job when they waste taxpayer dollars protecting state and municipal property and the financial assets of state corporations and their crooked politicians. Since when does a police officer within the several states for the Union of 50 states ever do their job as it was originally intended, and for the protection of the rights of men and women? As most Americans will agree, the police do not work for the people anymore. They are predatory, dishonest liars and are quite possibly more dangerous to our liberty liberties as a free people than standing armies. Well, I guess that concludes today's rant, but for more valuable tools, if you want to exercise your right to travel unencumbered freely, like your creator intended, go ahead and visit shop.freedomfromgovernment.org. We got lots of good stuff over there for you. Lots of learning materials also. Thank you once again for joining me for another video here on Partially Woke. I promise I'll be back soon with more. I'm not stopping. You can't stop me. Okay? Later.